What if the most powerful samurai in history never drew his sword in anger? Imagine a figure whose strength was measured not by the number of battles fought, but by the number of conflicts avoided. What if the greatest legacy of the samurai was not written in blood, but in the quiet moments of restraint, in the wisdom to choose peace over violence? We picture the samurai as warriors, always ready for battle, their swords gleaming in the sunlight, their armor a symbol of their readiness to fight. But that's only a fraction of their story. The true essence of the samurai was far more complex, woven from threads of discipline, learning, and a deep sense of duty to their society. During the long peace of the Edo period, true power shifted from the battlefield to the backrooms of government and scholarship. The samurai, once the sword's master, became the mind behind the nation's stability, guiding the currents of politics and culture from behind the scenes. The real architects of Japan's stability were not always the sword wielders, but those who shaped society quietly. They debated policy, managed resources, and resolved disputes with words rather than weapons, ensuring the country's prosperity for generations. Their weapons were the brush, the abacus, and the well-chosen word. With these tools, they recorded history, balanced the books, and crafted the laws that would govern a nation at peace. These silent samurai built the foundations of a society that lasted over 2 centuries. Their influence can be seen in the architecture, the family lineages, and the very customs that define Japanese culture to this day. Their stories are not of heroic charges but of careful planning and cultural patronage. They supported artists, poets, and craftsmen, nurturing a golden age of creativity and refinement. Their names are often lost to history, overshadowed by more dramatic tales. Yet their quiet actions echo through time, shaping the world in ways that are often invisible but deeply profound.
Where does true strength lie? In taking a life, or in preserving thousands? Is it found in the clash of steel, or in the calm that follows a wise decision? The samurai of the Edo period answered these questions not with violence, but with vision. The Edo period from 1603 to 1868 was an era of peace, the Pax Tokugawa. For over 250 years, Japan was largely free from the ravages of war, a rare achievement in world history and one that required constant vigilance and adaptation. The samurai, once warriors, found themselves in a world with few wars. Their swords became ceremonial, their armor stored away, as they walked the streets not as conquerors but as stewards of peace and order. Did they fade away? No, they adapted. They became scholars, administrators, and teachers, passing on their values and wisdom to the next generation. They became the hidden architects of a new Japan, shifting from military might to subtle influence. Their power was no longer measured by the sword, but by the strength of their ideas and the depth of their character. This story pulls back the curtain on the forgotten chapter of samurai history. It reveals the silent revolution that took place in the hearts and minds of a warrior class, transforming them into guardians of peace. We'll meet the administrators, scholars, artists, and spies who shaped Japan without ever drawing a sword. Their influence was subtle, but it was everywhere, woven into the fabric of daily life, hidden in plain sight. Their legacy is not written in blood, but in the very fabric of modern Japanese society. The values they upheld, discipline, honor, and service, continue to shape Japan's identity, even in the bustling cities of today. It's a story of how a warrior class learned that the pen and the quiet word could be mightier than the sword. In their silence, they found a new kind of power, one that endures long after the clash of battle has faded.
Let's hear their silent story. Let's walk the corridors where decisions were made in whispers, and discover the legacy left by those who chose wisdom over war. Scene transition images of samurai in both armor and robes, writing and planning. The silent samurai's influence is everywhere if you know where to look. In every law, every tradition, every work of art, their presence lingers. Their power was subtle, but it shaped a nation. The Japan we know today was built not just by warriors, but by visionaries who understood the true meaning of strength. They remind us that true strength often lies in restraint and wisdom. In a world that celebrates action, their story is a testament to the enduring power of patience and thoughtfulness. Their story is not about glory, but about legacy. And that legacy endures, passed down through generations, shaping the spirit of a nation. Title card, The Silent Samurai. In the end, perhaps the greatest power is not in the sword unsheathed, but in the wisdom to keep it sheathed. This is the story of the silent samurai.
The samurai we know from movies, grim, armored, sword always ready, misses the real story. Hollywood has painted a picture of relentless warriors locked in endless combat, but this image is only a small fragment of who they truly were. Yes, they were warriors, but the Edo period forced them to change. As Japan entered a long era of peace, the samurai could no longer define themselves solely by the sword. Their world shifted dramatically, and so did their roles in society. With peace, the samurai became bureaucrats, tax collectors, and civil engineers. They were suddenly responsible for the day-to-day running of towns and provinces, handling everything from finances to infrastructure. Their daily battles were with paperwork, not swords. Instead of fighting on muddy fields, they wrestled with ledgers, scrolls, and official decrees, ensuring the smooth operation of a growing nation. They managed the machinery of the state, ensuring peace through governance. Their leadership and discipline were redirected into administration, helping to build a stable society. Many struggled with this new reality, but the best adapted. Some found it difficult to let go of the old ways, while others embraced their new responsibilities and thrived in their evolving roles.
The discipline and strategy of the battlefield became tools for administration and policy. The same skills that once won wars now helped govern cities, resolve disputes, and plan for the future. The samurai's new identity was more nuanced and more vital than any Hollywood duel. Their influence shaped the very fabric of Japanese society, far beyond the battlefield.
They shattered the old mold, breaking free from the narrow definition of the warrior and embracing a broader, more complex legacy. By adapting to new roles, they created a new legacy for themselves, one built on intellect, service, and adaptability. The real samurai story is one of transformation, not just combat. It's a story of resilience, reinvention, and the quiet strength to lead in times of peace. Their journey reminds us that true strength lies not just in battle, but in the courage to change and the wisdom to serve a greater good.
Out of the long-awaited peace, a new kind of samurai emerged, one who was defined not by the clash of swords, but by the quiet strength of discipline and intellect. These were the silent samurai, whose presence was felt in every corner of society, even if their voices were rarely heard.
These remarkable men traded the fleeting glory of the battlefield for the lasting impact of civil service, scholarship, and the arts. They became teachers, artists, and administrators, shaping the minds and values of generations to come. Their daily work, managing domains, debating philosophy, and creating art, quietly shaped the very fabric of Japan for centuries. Through their efforts, they laid the foundations for a stable and prosperous society. They were the engine behind the Pax Tokugawa, the driving force that kept the peace and allowed culture to flourish.
Their swords became mere symbols of their heritage. Their true tools were the abacus, the brush, and the book. With these, they calculated, created, and chronicled a new era. They reinvented their class, channeling their energy from destruction to construction, from conquest to creation, building the infrastructure and institutions that would define the age. They managed the economy, fostered culture, and developed legal codes, ensuring that order and prosperity reached every level of society.
Their silence was their strength. Their quiet resolve made them the hidden pillars of society, supporting a nation in transition. In the heart of Edo, their legacy lived on, woven into the daily life, art, and governance of a flourishing Japan.
The silent samurai became the bureaucrats of Edo, Japan. They managed domains, drafted laws, and oversaw massive infrastructure projects. Figures like Ogyu Sorai shaped policy and strengthened the samurai's new administrative role. Samurai officials planned cities, built roads, and managed resources.
Their work ensured stability and prosperity, collecting taxes and resolving disputes. They governed with ink, not steel, sustaining peace for generations.
With war behind them, many samurai became scholars, shaping Japan's philosophy and education.
They revived Neo-Confucianism, providing the moral glue for society.
Others, like Motori Norinaga, explored Japan's native identity through ancient texts.
Their ideas shaped policy, culture, and even national pride.
They founded schools, educated leaders, and debated ethics.
Their intellectual labor forged the mind of the nation.
Ironically, their work also planted seeds for the shogunate's eventual downfall. Visual samurai in libraries, teaching, writing.
The Edo peace let arts and culture flourish, with samurai at the center.
They became artists, poets, and patrons, mastering the brush as they once did the sword.
The tea ceremony, painting, and poetry became new arenas for discipline and refinement. Visual tea ceremony, visual painting, visual poetry.
Their tastes shaped the era's aesthetics and values.
By investing in culture, they waged a campaign for peace.
The art they created became a testament to harmony and beauty. Visual tea ceremony, visual calligraphy, visual paintings, end scene 6.
Even in peace, the shogunate needed intelligence and subtle influence.
The Metsuke and Ometsuke, samurai officials, were spies and inspectors, monitoring daimyo and enforcing order.
Their reports could make or break a lord's career.
Samurai diplomats managed foreign relations in Nagasaki, balancing isolation with necessary trade.
These shadow warriors operated in secrecy, their successes uncelebrated, their failures dangerous.
They were the silent guardians of the realm, as crucial as any army. Visual samurai in disguise, visual maps, visual foreign ships, end scene 7, music transition, fade out.
The silent samurai's work was designed to be invisible. Success meant nothing remarkable happened.
The samurai ideal still celebrated warriors, not administrators or poets. Official records focused on systems, not personal stories.
Silence was a virtue. Boasting was frowned upon.
Many never sought recognition. Their reward was duty fulfilled.
Their silence was a deliberate expression of their values. The silent samurai's legacy is woven into modern Japan.
The Meiji Restoration was led by men shaped by this tradition.
Today's professional bureaucracy echoes their values.
The Japanese salaryman is a modern incarnation of the samurai administrator.
Their passion for education and the arts still shapes Japanese culture.
Their principles of harmony and diligence endure.
The silent samurai built a lasting peace and a resilient culture. End scene 9.